Listen carefully, for this is not just a story, it is a warning. They say in the heart of a small village, where the earth was cracked from hunger and the air carried the cries of children, there lived a widow whose sacrifice would shake the ground beneath our feet. Her name was Adaku. She had nothing left but a single bag of maize that could keep her children alive for a season, or be sown into the soil to grow a future. But Adaku's choice was not ordinary. It was whispered by elders and feared by the young. Because that maize was not just maize. It carried a secret. A curse, or a blessing, depending on how it was used. And when she decided to give it away, to sacrifice it for a reason no one in the village could understand, the spirits of the forest, the ancestors, and even the jealous hearts of men turned their eyes toward her. What could make a starving mother give up her last hope for survival? Why would a widow risk the lives of her children for maize that everyone else fought to keep? Stay with me, for as I tell you this story, you will discover that Adaku's sacrifice was more than hunger, more than survival. It was a test of the heart, a lesson wrapped in pain, and a reminder that sometimes the heaviest battles are not fought with swords, but with choices. That season, famine had swallowed the land. The rivers dried, the ground cracked like broken pottery, and the yam barns echoed with emptiness. Children's bellies swelled with hunger, and the cries of infants blended with the croaking of frogs at night. But in the small mud hut at the edge of the village, Adaku guarded her secret, a calabash filled with yellow maize. To her, it was not just grain. It was life, hope, and perhaps the last thread tying her children to tomorrow. Her eldest son, Obina, saw her fingers tremble as she held the maize one evening. "Mother," he whispered, his voice dry like brittle leaves, "cook it tonight. My stomach burns." But Adaku did not answer. Her eyes stared into the flickering fire, her lips sealed, as though some spirit sat beside her, whispering only to her heart. Later that night, when the children lay restless, she rose silently, tied her wrapper tight, and carried the maize in a woven basket. She did not walk toward her cooking pot. She walked toward the shrine of the ancestors. The moon was thin, hiding behind dark clouds. The forest seemed to breathe as she entered. And there, in front of the sacred Iroko tree, she placed the basket of maize down. "Ancestors," she said softly, her voice breaking, "I give back what the earth gave me. Feed my children if you will. But if my sacrifice must buy something greater, let it be so." The wind sighed through the trees. Somewhere, an owl screeched. And just as her knees touched the earth, she felt it, the ground shiver beneath her. By morning, news spread like wildfire. "Adaku has thrown away her children's food. Is she mad? Who offers maize to the spirits when her family is starving?" Whispers followed her everywhere. The women shook their heads. The men spat on the ground. Even her children, confused and broken, asked her, "Mother, why? Why would you give away our last hope?" But Adaku's eyes carried a fire no one could understand. She only told them, "There are things maize cannot buy. There are battles the stomach cannot fight." Days passed. Hunger not deeper. Children fainted in the marketplace. And in the village square, the chief announced that the famine would last longer, perhaps another season, perhaps more. The people cursed. The people wailed. And the people turned their eyes on Adaku. Some said she had angered the gods by wasting her maize. Others whispered that she had bargained with spirits for powers unseen. And when a sudden rain fell only on the land around her hut, leaving every other farm dry, the whispers grew louder. "Her sacrifice has bought her favor. No, her sacrifice has brought us curse." The elders gathered. They demanded that Adaku explain herself. And she, standing in the middle of the square with her thin frame, said only one thing. "The maize was never mine to keep. It was mine to give." But the people did not understand. And that was when the real trouble began. That evening, when the elders had dispersed and the villagers carried their suspicions back to their compounds, Adaku walked home slowly. The eyes that followed her were sharp as knives. Some pitied her, some despised her, but most were afraid. At her doorstep, her children sat waiting, their eyes hollow with hunger. Obinna, her eldest, did not rise to greet her. He clenched his fist. "Mother," he said, his voice shaking with anger, "you gave away our food. And now they say we will all die. Why? Tell me why." Adaku knelt before him, placed her calloused hands on his shoulders, and whispered, "My son, maize in the belly will pass away by morning. But maize in the spirit, if planted in the right place, can feed generations." Obinna turned away, tears streaming down his face. He did not understand. None of them did. That night, as the moon grew pale and thin, Adaku could not sleep. She lay on her mat, listening to the night sounds, the rustle of dry leaves, the croak of distant frogs, the cry of a hungry infant from a neighbor's hut. But beneath all those sounds, she heard something else, the low hum, deep, like the ground itself was murmuring. She sat up. The sound grew clearer, drawing her toward the forest again. Against her will, her feet moved. She wrapped her faded cloth around her waist, lit a small oil lamp, and stepped outside. The path was dark, but the humming pulled her forward. It led her to the same iroko tree where she had placed her maize. There, in the glow of her flickering lamp, she saw it. The basket of maize had split open, but instead of spilling on the ground, the grains had sunk into the earth. The soil was alive. From the very spot, green shoots had sprouted overnight, tall, strong, swaying as though they had been growing for months. She dropped her lamp, her eyes wide. "Spirit of my fathers," she whispered. Suddenly, a voice echoed, not from a man, not from any human throat, but from the very air around her. "Adaku, your sacrifice has been accepted. But blessings never walk alone. They are followed by trials. Are you ready?" Her knees grew weak, but she answered, trembling, "Yes." The wind roared, carrying the sound of drums, distant, yet close, as if the ancestors were beating rhythms from the sky itself. By dawn, the miracle could not be hidden. The villagers rushed to the forest path and saw the maize stalks towering, green and thick, in the middle of famine. The elders gasped. The women shouted. The children danced, clawing at the green leaves as if they could eat them raw. But envy has sharp teeth. Men whispered among themselves. "Why her? Why should a widow be chosen above us all?" The chief frowned, his voice heavy with suspicion. "No blessing comes without a price. We must watch her carefully." Adaku, though, said nothing. She only went to the maize, touched its leaves, and prayed silently. She knew the spirits had not finished speaking. Days turned into weeks. The maize grew faster than any crop the village had ever seen. Ears swelled with golden kernels, fat and ready to harvest. Children from starving homes crept at night to steal some, and not once did Adaku chase them away. Yet the whispers grew darker. Some claimed the maize was not real food, that it would turn to dust once cooked. Others swore that anyone who ate from Adaku's harvest would belong to the spirits forever. The final blow came one night when thunder split the sky, though no rain fell. Lightning struck the ground near the iroko tree, and the villagers screamed that the gods were angry. By morning, the council of elders gathered again. They sent for Adaku. And in the square, before every man, woman, and child, the chief spoke loudly. "Widow, your sacrifice has brought strange harvest. But strange harvest may carry strange curses. Tell us, Adaku, what bargain did you make with the spirits? What price will we all pay for your maize?" The crowd roared, voices rising. Some demanded she be banished. Some begged to eat from her field. Others simply stared, fear gnawing at their hearts. Adaku stood tall, though hunger had made her bones sharp beneath her skin. She lifted her head and spoke slowly, every word heavy like a drumbeat. I made no bargain. I gave what I had. The spirits chose the rest. If you fear the harvest, then leave it. But if you believe, then eat. For the maize is not mine, it is yours. But know this, every blessing is a test. And every test will reveal the heart of those who face it. Her words struck the crowd silent. Even the chief shifted uneasily. For though they feared, they also longed. That night, a small group of villagers crept into the field, desperate, their children crying from hunger. They plucked cobs and ran. By morning, the smell of boiling maize rose from their huts. And when they ate, nothing happened. No curse. No sickness. Only fullness. The village erupted. People stormed the field, grabbing all they could. Men fought. Women screamed. Children filled their arms with more than they could carry. In one day, the entire field was stripped bare. Adaku watched from a distance, silent tears rolling down her cheeks. She did not stop them. She did not claim a single cob for herself or her children. But when the last cob was gone, when the stalk stood naked in the sun, something strange happened again. The ground shook, faint at first, then stronger. Birds took to the sky. And from beneath the stalks came a sound, like drumming. The people froze, their mouths still full of stolen maize. And then, the earth split. The ground split open, and the villagers stumbled back in terror. From the crack, light poured out, not fire, not flame, but golden light, brighter than the sun yet soft as moonshine. It rose like smoke, carrying with it the sound of drums, flutes, and voices chanting in a tongue older than the village itself. The people fell to their knees. Children cried. Even the chief trembled. From the light, a figure appeared, tall, robed in white, its face hidden in brilliance. Its voice roared like thunder, yet it was calm as a river. You took the widow's gift, and devoured it like locust. You fought one another, blinded by hunger and greed. But did you share with her, the one who gave? Did you honor the sacrifice, or did you trample it? The people shook where they knelt. None answered. The spirit's voice deepened. Blessings are not given to be consumed like firewood. They are planted, nurtured, multiplied. But you have failed this test. And now, the burden will fall upon the one who did not fail. The light turned, and Adaku stepped forward, her children behind her. Her thin body seemed to glow under the radiance. Adaku, the spirit said, your heart is heavy with loss, yet your hands are open with giving. You gave when you had nothing. You trusted when others doubted. For this, your name shall not perish from the earth. From your lineage shall rise those who feed nations, those who heal wounds, those who lead with truth. The spirit stretched its hand toward her. The cracked earth sealed itself. The stripped maize stalks vanished. And in their place, a wide field of yam mounds appeared, stretching farther than the eye could see, green leaves already sprouting. The people gasped. But Adaku turned, her eyes filled with tears, and spoke softly, this field is not mine. It is ours. But remember, if you take without gratitude, if you consume without planting, famine will return. Learn this, maize in the stomach feeds a day, but maize in the spirit feeds a generation. The chief, humbled, bowed his head. The villagers, ashamed, wept and begged her forgiveness. Children clung to her wrapper, whispering her name. From that day, Adaku was no longer called a poor widow. She was remembered as Adaku the giver, a woman whose sacrifice taught an entire village the meaning of true wealth. And for generations, whenever famine threatened, the elders told this story. They would gather the young beneath the moonlight, point to the fields heavy with yam and maize, and remind them, blessings are not eaten whole. They are planted, shared, and honored. Remember the widow who gave her last maize, and never forget the lesson of sacrifice. And so the story was passed down, not as a tale of hunger, but as a lesson of the heart. Because in the end, it was never about the maize. It was about the spirit. And so, my friends, the story of Adaku reminds us, true wealth is not in what we keep, but in what we give. The maize in her basket could have filled her children's stomachs for a day, but the maize in her spirit fed a whole village for generations. Remember this, blessings are like seeds. If you eat them, they are gone. But if you plant them, they multiply. That is why the elders still say, a gift kept feeds one mouth, but a gift given feeds the world. If you were in Adaku's place, would you have sacrificed your last food? Drop your comments below, like and subscribe.